Hello, myself Sunil R Nair. Here we are discussing one of the topic, that is India account creation. In account creation, basically, just now basically we have talked about suicide bombers. So one of the person told that, are you sure basically, this everything is correct basically? Because a few people told that basically this is not correct. Then one of the person told, Sunil, basically how you basically got the information? Then one of the person told that there are basically many websites basically they are against government. They basically literally write downs basically there basically. If you search basically write against government websites, there they will literally display that basically governments are like this basically. 1983 World Cup basically, that was also basically written in one of the against websites. So one of the person told us, Sunil, how basically you basically know that? One of the group basically told that he was basically cyber group basically, cyber industry group basically, because they always basically search this type of content. So he basically told, just taking as an example basically. So he told that, how basically you got this information? Then Sunil R Nair told that basically you search against government websites, you will get the information you will not believe it basically in websites basically. You will not believe it. So one of the person told that means the suicide bomber, everything basically which are already. One of the person told that, yeah, if you are telling that 1 lakh suicide bomber, so what is the expense here basically? What is the expense of 1 lakh suicide bombers basically? It's more than few people say, tells that basically it's very costly. Few people tells that basically it's very this that basically. So one of the person told that, why basically in Mumbai basically it's like that? Why it is not in Ahmedabad? Why it basically it's not in Bangalore? Why basically it is not in Delhi? Why basically it's not in Kerala? Why basically it is not in Chennai? Why basically it's only in Mumbai basically? That was basically good question basically. Because Mumbai people basically has done any bad thing basically. Then few people told that basically Mumbai basically are in custody of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh. Few people tells whether it is correct or not correct, that basically we don't know. So they basically tells that Uttar Pradesh, Bihari and Madhya Pradesh basically they always have gun basically with them basically. They only believe in gun. So this 1 lakh suicide bomber basically are gun points basically. If you go against and if you say that basically like this, UP, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh ko bhagao, then basically see their reaction basically, what are the things basically going to happen. They will say that basically we will break his head, we will break his leg, we will break his heart, we will break his eye. This type of comment basically will they say. And literally basically they are, even basically the Congress government will say that basically now we don't want to take panga with UP, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh. They will say basically this. Why? Because they know that basically this type of, they are very dangerous people basically. If they can place 1 lakh suicide bomber basically in Mumbai, then you can just imagine basically how dangerous these people basically are. And they basically have many people in satellite also. If anybody is saying against UP, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh, immediately they fires the house and basically they fires basically that person basically literally shakes his body basically. Literally shakes his body basically. Then one Sunil R Nair basically told that basically that experience I also have basically. I basically one time basically I was moving in the vehicle basically. I told one person basically यूपी बिहार वालों को भगाओ and मध्य प्रदेश को भी भगाओ. After some days basically I got head chakkar basically. Then basically I thought that yeah basically what actually I have done this basically. I have done nothing basically. Then one of the medicine person basically told that, have you told this UP, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh ko bhagao? Then he told that Sunil basically remembered the things basically. When basically I had told this, yeah, basically. Then Sunil remembered that yes, yeah, basically that I had told basically one day basically. I had told one day basically that UP, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh ko bhagao. So one of the person told that they are very powerful basically. They have full control of satellite basically. They can basically do anything basically. They have Ram Mandir temple power basically. On the name of Ram Mandir basically they will do anything. NT3 bomb blast basically was done by this group only basically. That is UP, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh group basically. And on the name of Ram Mandir basically they are going to do lots of tasks basically. So they told, few people told that basically this group basically have lots of contacts with Muslims groups also basically. Ram Mandir Mudda. But Ram Mandir basically is already created. Now basically you can't do any dadagiri. But they are keeps doing dadagiri. Why? Because they want to do dadagiri only, that's why basically they have created this Mudda basically. That's why basically they created this Mudda. So one of the person told that if you tell that basically, if you basically go against these people basically, they basically literally fire your head also basically sometime. And they basically themselves basically they don't do basically. They basically hire few Muslims. They basically hire few Rohingya Muslims. They hire few Pakistani Muslims. Because these people basically don't have money. They basically can do anything. This kind of people basically they picks. And in basically politics basically everybody knows that 90% people basically of political power basically who is having, they are from Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. And they basically place Pakistani Muslims, Bangladeshi Muslims, Rohingya Muslims. CAA basically was implemented by one of the North Supreme Court person. That was basically mostly from UP, Bihar or Madhya Pradesh. I don't remember the name. But this is basically literally Dadagiri. This is basically literally Dadagiri. And they says that basically किसी के बाप में दम है तो रोको ये दादागिरी. They basically literally say in front of the police basically. 93 bomb blast basically was done basically, right? That was done basically in front of the police only, basically. The police was able to do anything basically. Few people says that basically the police commissioner जो था ना basically, he was also basically from north basically. Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh. Few people says that basically 93 bomb blast basically there was no big software company basically. But few people says that TCS company basically was there. Few people says that Microsoft also basically was there. Few people says that Oracle also basically was there. Whether that is correct basically, that only the police department only basically might be knowing this everything. Because they know that basically बहुत दादागिरी हो गई. Literally basically Supreme Court person only told that basically you create temple basically. Because इतनी दादागिरी was happened. Why? Because they have power in satellite also basically. One normal person basically can do anything basically from our planet to satellite. No, basically he can't do anything. So basically UP, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh group can do anything basically. They have that kind of power basically. And they basically don't do the task basically by them basically, because in future basically if any big will happen, then basically entire India basically UP, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh people will get effect. So police basically when they are going to track the people task basically done by the which people basically, that will be Pakistani Muslims, Bangladeshi Muslims, Rohingya Muslims, that is the Bangladeshi, which they have placing basically since 1983. So one of the person to the police, matlab, police people basically knowing this everything. They also basically are into this. No? They also basically say that basically, okay, yaar, basically we also want few people basically who can work according to us basically. Because we want to control the city basically. We want to control the city basically. So you can just imagine basically how dadagiri of these people basically. Few people says that they basically never come in front basically. I will take one example. Assume that basically there are a few things basically. 93 World Cup basically. Sorry, India basically want to win the World Cup. So they basically done some plan. They basically track that basically there are 120 people basically who are actually giving the problem to World Cup. They were giving problem to World Cup win. So they basically done the plan and they killed that particular group basically. Few people basically they killed in Dubai basically. Why? Because Dubai basically is custody of India basically. Why? Because India is giving lots of business to Dubai. So Dubai have to do that task basically. So they killed basically lots of Indian people. Sorry, lots of this 120 people basically. And basically they basically remove the proof also basically. There are lots of ship basically roaming near the Dubai. There are lots of fish basically. The proof also basically added. So one of the person to the Dubai is the most safest place basically. There basically not crime happens, but there only basically the crime happens more. But there basically people never get tracked. So you can just imagine, and there basically you will not believe the half of the building, not half, 90% building was created by UP, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh people basically. You will not believe it. So that's why one of the person told that that's why these people basically do dadagiri. They have basically full control basically. They have top leaders basically are of politics basically are from UP, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh. So what is going to do? So it's like that. So here basically we are not discussing any topic. If any one person is basically powerful, so he is powerful basically. We can't do anything basically. We can't change his power. We can because they have basically power basically. So they have the power basically. They say that basically we handles Mumbai in this way only basically. By placing suicide bombers. But this is correct basically, that basically I don't know. But I have read it somewhere basically. That Mumbai is handling like this way only basically. And in Mumbai you will not believe most of controls basically are with UP, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh people. One lakh suicide bomber means you can just understand basically. And this is basically correct or not, that basically you check it basically. Go to Bombay Stock Exchange, go to temples, go to the mosque basically, near around basically people who are roaming here, there and there. Detect the body basically of that people basically. There are many suicide bombers basically roaming here and there basically. And one of the person told basically, I basically how I know, because I have read it somewhere. But really basically few Bollywood group also basically told this basically. When basically I was in Mumbai basically, few Bollywood people told that basically Mumbai actually बहुत मतलब गंदा है. It's very bad because there you will not believe there are many suicide bombers basically roaming here and there basically. Reason, if anybody go against the group who is controlling the Mumbai, they immediately blast it basically. So few people say that basically in Mumbai is the heart of city, heart of India, and there basically the major decision tasks are taken, and that task basically are supposed to be done without any error. So few people says this also. So for that basically they have kept this type of environment basically. You will not believe basically in many big buildings basically many suicide bombers are basically there. So you can just imagine it. But it's not like that basically that bomb are planned. In building basically you can't plant the bomb. But there are few things basically which will destroy entire building only basically. Which will destroy entire building. In building basically you can't do this type of activity basically. Because in building only the metal detector are basically there. But in road everything basically you can do that basically. No basically. So one of the person told that, but in Mumbai are basically big rich people basically are staying. Sometimes basically assume that rich people also basically passed near the suicide bombers basically. Then that time basically something happened. Then they told that the suicide bomber basically are for them also. You can just imagine basically the bad things basically is ongoing in Mumbai basically. And this is basically fact basically. So few people basically told that basically यार हमको check करना पड़ेगा basically. Really basically this is wrong basically. This basically need to check basically. This need to check. Few people says that Mumbai basically are in earthquake zone also. Sometime basically if anybody want to achieve some task basically from Mumbai, they first fires the Mumbai city basically. They basically do the earthquakes. And then basically they literally directly say that basically देख भाई अभी earthquake आएगा थोड़ी देर में. So literally the earthquake comes basically, and after they say that basically you have to do this task basically. That means you can just imagine basically the suicide bomber is basically just normal thing basically. Earthquake is the biggest basically dangerous weapon basically. It's a very highly technology weapon. They literally calls basically, and they say that basically earthquake is going to come basically after a few time basically earthquake comes, and after that basically they calls this is the task basically you have to do in this time basically. So they have to do basically. So one of the person told that the company owners basically of the Mumbai might be having which type of lifestyle. That's why basically few people says that they always drink in night and then they sleeps. So in next video basically we are going to see little bit more about this topic.